Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. Today's stories include toxic exes, negligent parents, custody disputes, and entitled people. Let's start. Am I the idiot for making my husband change his custody agreement? By Independent Egg 8756. Yes, I'm an evil stepmom, judge accordingly. My 38 female husband, 40 male, and I have 4 girls H1, 14, H2, 12, M1, 10, and O2. We've been married for 6 years. While we are a blended family, all of our daughters are, well, ours. The issue comes in with my husband's ex, J, 38 female. She chooses not to drive, not a medical issue or disability, so transporting our oldest 2 always falls on my husband or I. This means all doctor appointments, school events, extracurriculars, everything. In November, we got a call from the principal that H1 and H2 were missing a lot of school, and their attendance would need to improve after winter break to avoid summer school. We talked with girls, who said that if they missed the bus, they missed school, because J didn't have a way to get them there, so my husband started driving them every day. It worked for a while, but the girls complained about waking up even earlier, since Hubs has work. It also meant I was left trying to get M and O out the door myself before getting to work. Starting January through March, I noted every time my husband needed to do something for his girls on J's time, and how long it took. I also factored in time my husband lost time due to J not driving, like needing them home by 8, instead of picking them up at 8. At the beginning of April, I sat him down and showed him my data. Over 3 months, we ended up with his girls nearly 70% of the time. I also showed him how the current schedule was impacting our life together. This may be why I'm the idiot. Hubs asked what I thought we should do. I told him it was obvious, that we should petition to change custody, so we had them more regularly. I pointed out that we had them 3 nights/week minimum already, and saw them for dance and softball and most weekends. It made sense to switch the custody agreement, so that he wasn't paying child support for time that we had the kids. I also brought up that we live in a better school district, and H1 would be starting high school in the fall. She's such a brilliant girl. I think being in our district would help her tremendously. Well, today the custody agreement was settled. It flipped, so we have them 6 days/every other week, and Jay has them 1 day/every other week. The girls got to have a say, and both want to live with us. After meeting with the judge, Jay pulled me aside and told me I was hateful, that I was stealing her children away, that I was flaunting my privilege, and I was basically robbing her. I didn't say anything, but I'm still upset and wondering if I should have left it alone. So, am I the idiot? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. While I think what I did was best for everyone, I do feel bad that my husband's ex won't see her daughters as often, and that she'll take a hit from losing child support money. It says a lot that the kids were happy to move to your home for most of the time, over their being with their mother. Do they not have a good relationship with her? They do, but I'm a much more gentle parent than she is. I don't yell. My dad was a yeller and it made me feel so small, and they're good girls, all of them, even when they test my patience, lol. There's no need to yell. H1 frequently asks her dad, "Why is mommy always angry?" And it breaks my heart. All of them love art. Jay doesn't like mess, so they don't really get to do any painting at her place, something they so enjoy. My husband was working late one night, so I went to Dollar Tree, bought like 6 plastic shower curtains and a ton of those white ceramic figures and some cheap canvases, rolled it all out on the living room floor and put on Frozen. I am willing to bet Jay has made OP out to be the bad guy on multiple accounts, to make herself feel better from what has been seen above. Exactly. There's a lot of ways that I parent differently than her, and she dislikes that her girls don't hate me. OP also tell us. Our area isn't walkable at all. Jay used to live around the corner from the girls' school, but then they started a new school and she moved. Everything is about a 20-minute drive from everything else, so walking isn't really an option. What's her reason for not driving? If not physical, is it psychological? Financial? Why did they miss the bus constantly? Was there ever enough communication between the 3 parents about ways to solve this, and have your husband given her an ultimatum before this custody situation changed? Jay doesn't drive because she's from the city and, quote, no one drives in the city, and, quote, there's no need because everywhere delivers now. I'm not sure about the bus, but I know from the girls that she was asleep when they left. They both have ADHD, so time management is even more difficult than normal for teenage girls. It's tough for us, too, but we try to make sure they're in bed early enough and wake up on time. There have been many conversations about custody. Jay likes to throw that since my husband asked for the divorce, all these issues are his to solve. I didn't add much about her character because it would all be my opinion of her, which is hardly objective, you know? I don't think she's a bad mom, but I think she makes poor choices that impact her ability to parent well. Also, she works from home, full-time. From what the girls say, she gets groceries delivered. If she goes out, it's because someone is taking her, or she'll occasionally Uber to appointments. While they were married, and even shortly after their divorce, Hubs would drive her everywhere. Jay moved from a very large city, about 20 years ago, to our suburban area with my husband, and had her kids here, but will still use being a, quote, city girl, as an excuse to not drive. As for the privilege bit, it's something she throws in my face constantly. I didn't grow up in an affluent McMansion, but my family was always solid middle class and I grew up in a nice area. Jay had a much different childhood. I'll also mention that I'm white, and she is not, nor is my husband, if that matters. Jay isn't disabled, she is mentally and physically sound, with a full-time job that pays well. She chooses not to drive. Neither girls are in high school yet, each one will be a freshman next year. My husband and I are better off financially because we don't have the debt she does. Before you ask, it isn't medical debt, it's credit cards open for buying clothes, makeup and handbags. Truth be told, she makes more per hour than I do. I've just always been an avid saver and budgeter. My husband was paying the child support court deemed appropriate for the amount of custody he had. He also was their only means of transportation to everything outside their home, including doctor appointments. With this custody update, he no longer owes child support and we waive our right to receive any from Jay. Being the primary home for the girls actually saves us a bit of money just in gas, let alone no longer paying child support. Jay also hadn't been getting the girls to school if they missed the bus. I consider this neglectful, because education is so important. What we do provide for the girls is security. We cook dinner together most every night, and eat at the same time. They have a routine and schedule with us. They make it to school, dance, softball and soccer on time, and they get to spend time with their younger sisters here. They would often choose to sleep here after their activities of their own volition, for any number of reasons. H1 and H2 chose to live with us for any number of reasons. We're not millionaires buying them Lambos and Gucci, we're comfortable, but certainly not rich by any stretch. I feel like you're painting a picture of Jay being near homeless. While we laugh from the ivory tower of our beach house in Cabo, it's just not like that. Look OP, I don't think you're the idiot here. I don't think you are trying to take anyone's child, and you seem like you genuinely care about the girls, and consider them yours. But I also understand the reaction of the girl's mother. I don't agree with what she said to you, but to have such a sudden change in the custody agreement without her consent, it must be hard. I know that the girls also agreed with this change, but it's still very hard for a parent to accept this, and she wants to put the blame on someone, and she chose you. Like, at a moment your children are living primarily with you, and suddenly they don't anymore. I know that from your perspective, you and your husband made these changes considering what's best for your family. And yes, according to the things and situations that you told us, it makes total sense to ask for a change in the custody agreement, since you are the ones who spent most of the time with the girls. But from her perspective, you and husband are definitely the bad guys. Well, it seems like everything you're doing is for the girls' well-being, and apparently, they agree with it too. If their mother has a problem with this, she needs to rethink her relationship with her daughters, and why they'd rather live with their father and stepmother than with her. And no, I don't think that they have more money thinking is going to stick here. She might actually need to look deeper. So in the end, you, your husband, and the girls wanted it, and the judge accepted it, and they are going to live with you most of the time now, and that's it. I understand that this must be hard for her, but she has to think about what's best for her children, as you're apparently doing. Not the idiot OP, and I really hope your husband's ex doesn't try to make your lives a living hell because of this. But one thing I would like to comment on that I found a bit strange here is the fixation on the fact that the girl's mother doesn't drive. I get that if she did drive, it would make it daily things easier for her, her daughters, her ex, and even OP, and they wouldn't just have to depend on their dads to drive them. But the problem here isn't that she doesn't drive, but that she didn't choose to look for other alternatives, and ended up neglecting her daughter's education by doing this. I'm saying this because, in a few moments, I had the feeling, as if OP in some of the comments were saying, if you don't drive, then you're not a good parent, which it would be effed up. And what do you guys think of this situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Do you think she and her husband did the right thing in asking for custody? Or would you have left things as they were? Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Now let's go to the comments. Not the idiot, y'all were doing that much driving anyway. The two older kids verbalized what they wanted, and now everyone, minus the ex-wife, is happy. It's one thing to choose not to drive, it's another to not have reliable transportation when you have children. Good for you guys. Not the idiot, the judge asked the kids what they wanted, and the custody agreement reflects what the kids want. Not the idiot, Jay wanted it both ways. She was inconveniencing everyone around her due to her personal choice. This makes more sense for everyone, especially the kids. Not the idiot, nothing you did was malicious. It was in the best interest of the children. His, yours, and shared. The ex can choose not to drive, but it is up to her to arrange transportation when the kids are with her, and not rely on her ex-husband to do everything. And there is no excuse for not getting them to school. Not the idiot, she's just upset that her monthly pot of money is going away. You did the right thing, the girls are old enough to tell the court where they want to live, which was with Hubs and you. Concentrate on taking care of those girls and giving them the best life you can. Hugs. And what about you guys? Do you agree with the comments? Would you recommend anything else to OP? If so, don't forget to leave your thoughts down below. Oh, and I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Now let's go to the next story. Am I the idiot for denying an older woman shelter from a storm? I, 23, female, am an avid hiker in Australia. Last week I encountered a middle-aged woman, around 50 years old, as I was coming off a trail. She was walking in my direction as I came out of the bush. It was strange to see her, the sun was almost down and the weather was starting to turn. Also, this was an intermediate collection of trails at best, difficult even for me at worst. And she didn't look super athletic. Point is, my weird radar was going off already. She walked up to me and stopped, standing too close for my comfort, gestured toward the clearing where my car was parked, and asked whether it was my car. No greeting or anything. When I looked over, something made me uncomfortable. There were no cars other than mine in sight. The trail I was on isn't crazy far from civilization, but it's not a walk away, one of those highway rest stops that's there for the trail and a few parking spots. No way she could have got there without driving. I let her know that, yes, it was my car, to which she responded something like, perfect, there's a storm coming, I can't be caught in it and I need to get home. She was very matter of fact. It seemed like she had already decided what would happen. Without waiting for my response, she started striding for my car. I am glad I always lock my doors because she would have hopped right in the passenger seat had the door opened. As she was walking over to it, I went after her trying to explain that I wasn't sure it was a good idea for her to hitch a ride, asking why she was out here in the first place. I was talking to a brick wall until she realized the car was locked, at which point she turned around with this look of anger and frustration on her face. She starts ranting the same stuff as before. I need to get home, a storm is coming, I cannot be caught in it, why don't you get it? I was very confused at this point, and a little scared, as this woman was now a barrier between me and my vehicle. I told her something like, "I'm sorry, but I don't feel comfortable with having a stranger in my car." She stared at me down for a few seconds, I guess trying to gauge her chances at asking again. And just like that, the anger drops from her face and she's silent. I was really uncomfortable. I asked if I could call someone, if there was another way to help. She starts walking towards me, scary, but then right past me. I'm still asking her questions, then just saying things like hello and excuse me. No response. She walked to the other end of the rest stop and maintained eye contact with me as she sat down on a log, then just stared at nothing. I didn't follow her. I got into my car really shaken up and drove away. As soon as I was back in cell range, I called fire and rescue. They said they would send someone out. I was scared for my safety at the moment, but she was just some woman alone in the middle of nowhere. Am I the a-hole for refusing this strange woman a ride/shelter in my car? No, OP, you're not the idiot. I understand wanting to help a person who is in need, especially in a situation like this, where you are in the middle of nowhere or not having help nearby. But if you had let her into your car like that, you could have put yourself in danger. Unfortunately, you don't know what her true intentions were. Could she simply need help to leave there? Yes, she could. But you don't know that. Again, unfortunately, we don't know what's going on in the other person's mind, and from what you could see, she wasn't in imminent danger. And also, you just didn't leave her there and walked away without giving any assistance. You called for help, you notified the authorities that there was a person in need in this location, and they went to help her and took her to safety. The problem is the way she approached you, the way she spoke to you, the way she just wanted to get in the car. Well, that is what left you, and anyone else, in doubt of her true intentions. She didn't introduce herself, or ask for help, or ask to borrow your phone to call someone, or for you to call for help. No, she just tried to get into your car and invaded your space without asking for any kind of permission. Could maybe you'd have stayed with her until help came, maybe. But in this situation, I believe you made the right decision, removed yourself from her presence and called the people who could help her. So no, OP, you're not the idiot. Now let's see what the comments have to say. Not the idiot, you called for assistance for her as soon as you were able. Good. Was there a storm coming? It would be an indicator if the woman was more or less stable, mentally. I can tell her attitude rattled you. You don't owe some random demanding woman a ride. Ever, but, was a storm coming? Thanks for your reply. A mild storm, but a storm nonetheless. On my way back, a light rain started up with some fair wind. Not the idiot. I think calling fire and rescue was a kind thing to do. Yeah, that whole situation didn't sound or feel safe. Better to let a professional handle it. Not the idiot, if you had driven off without calling fire rescue you would have been, but you did what you could to keep both of you safe. I agree with not the idiot, but OP's instincts had alarm bells ringing at this encounter, so even if they hadn't called fire and rescue, I'd still say not the idiot. You should always trust your instincts. Not the idiot. You did the right thing. What a scary situation. And calling fire and rescue was a much better option than having this woman in your car. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.